I think an important aspect of the 909, the 303 and a lot of the early Roland gear was it became affordable, and that was part of the catalyst that caused house music to happen. And without the digital revolution, I wouldn't have been able to afford all my kind of Roland analog synths and drum machines. Originally, I brought a 909 because it was cheap, because everyone wanted digital drum machines. What I noticed is the music I was listening to was full of 909s, and I realised that was happening all over the world. People in suburbia, people in Detroit, people in Chicago, and all of a sudden we were all using the same second-hand gear. And I think that's a lot to do with the sort of the original sound of house music and the sort of revolution that happened. That equipment came into the hands of the people. My first encounter with the 909 was when I saw they were available at Soho Soundhouse. So I just thought, well, it's a Roland drum machine, it's a 909, it sounds bigger than a 707. Took it home and then quickly realised it had a real punch and a real kind of power that went hand in hand with samples, and the two worked together beautifully. And ever since, it's been a sort of match made in heaven for me, sort of analog drum machines and samples. It's a beautiful thing. I remember seeing 303s and totally ignored them. And all the second-hand shops up and down Tottenham Court Road. Everyone was saying, oh, this is the new sound. And I thought, yeah, I don't know, I'm not a big fan. Then I heard Slam by Future and I was in. It was like, oh, yeah, now that's the sound. Phil, my brother, went out and bought our first 303 from a guy working the sort of working man clubs and using it as a, you know, what it's originally intended for, as a bass backing track for him playing Pet Shop Boys songs. I think my brother had to sit through the whole of West End Boys and West End Girls when he bought it second hand. This guy was showing off of what he could do with it and had obviously no idea what we were about to do with it. So we ended up buying two, we loved it so much. That's essentially the sound of all this gear, you know, and then you realise that you can plug an SH09 into a 303 through the CV and gate, which I've been really impressed to notice that's still on the front panel of the Boutique. And you end up with this absolutely monster sound of the 303 and the SH09 running together, which again is a very early Orbital sound. That's something that we used to do all the time. To me, you know, the 808 is the sound of hip hop and electro and things like that, but the 909 is the sound of house music.